3 reports.
America's favorite barflies wave goodbye. After 11 years of serving up laughs, it is last call at Cheers, and millions enjoy one more for the road. No doubt about it, a lot of people will be talking about tonight's final episode for a very long time.
This farewell, after all, to a bunch of old friends is our top story on a special one-hour edition of the Primetime News. In fact, we have a series of live reports for you tonight. Channel 3's Walt Gray. He's standing by in Boston town, where the post-show party is still going strong. And Kelly Brothers is at a Sacramento watering hole. It was the scene of a big Cheers party tonight. But first, let's switch to Beantown. Wally, you are a part of history tonight. How about that?
Well, Stan, thank you very much. It has been a very interesting night here. As a matter of fact, the show wrapping up, the cast members kind of hanging out the third floor. They've just actually gone back in, partying all night long. You're going to see a lot of that on the Tonight Show tonight, I'm sure. George Wendt and a lot of the cast members have stayed on to kind of say hello to the crowd and thank them for 11 years of great loyalty. And as you can tell, there was a lot of action in and outside the Bull and Finch pub tonight.
Sorry, we're closed.
This evening's episode became part of television history. And what was the biggest surprise of this final show?
Maybe we're being a little overcautious, but we don't want to make a mistake about something this important. Sorry.
It looks like the anticipated marriage of Sam and Diane will never happen. It was a special night outside the bar that is the symbolic home of Cheers. Thousands of fans watched on big screen televisions. They got a special thank you from the actors, who made a guest appearance from a third-floor window. It was an evening that no one will soon forget.
I was looking out there and I got a little teary and thought, well, this is pretty good for a truck driver's son from Bridgeport. So you did okay, kiddo.
It's pretty, it's heavy. It's very heavy. But I think that it's okay because this has been wonderful and it is what it is. This can't go on forever.
So will some degree of normalcy return to the Bull and Finch pub here in Boston? Well, who knows? This show will be on the syndication for quite a while. The Bull and Finch used to be some kind of a hangout for local politicos until the Cheers show came on, and then it became a tourist trap, quite frankly. They said that since it became the hangout for tourists, that a bunch of people from Iowa show up now to order T-shirts and a round of Cokes. But maybe somewhere down the road it'll return to the way it used to be. Just a drinking spot for the locals. Back to you, Stan.
And not a bad one at that. Of course, it's just ended here on the West Coast. Were the fans there at all disappointed in the ending? You know, we all had great expectations of a twist, and the producers got the last laugh in the end, and it was probably more real life the way it ended than anything else they could have done.
It was, you're completely right. I think we all felt kind of was a soft punch. We expected some kind of heavyweight ending, maybe the marriage of Sam and Diane, but it didn't work out that way. Maybe they've left room for something down the road.
Yeah, you never can tell. Son of Cheers, right?
Exactly.
Thanks, Walt. You've done a great job. Carol?
Stay tuned for the miniseries. Well, the post-show party is still going strong in Boston. The scene is much the same here in Northern California, if you can believe it. People gathered in bars, living rooms, just about anywhere to watch tonight's grand finale. Channel 3's Kelly Brothers is at one such spot tonight, Shanley's Bar and Grill in Sacramento, where the crowd is still shouting for Norm. Is that right, Kelly?
That's for sure, Carol. It's much going on here at Shanley's tonight, including a Norm look-alike contest, a Sam dating questionnaire, even a Carla insult showdown. But as Cheers fades into the sunset, what about neighborhood bars like Cheers? Because as you know, these days, many people prefer cappuccino to Coors. So what about neighborhood bars? Will they die away, much as the television series just did?
When people want to hit a watering hole these days, they might catch a game at a sports bar, cut a rug at a dance bar, or forego alcohol and just get a coffee. So what about neighborhood bars like Cheers? Are they a dying breed?
They're few and far between, almost like an endangered species.
Joshua Pups is the new kid on the block, open only 5 years, but it already has its own loyal clientele.
We always describe it like a Cheers, that everybody knows your name, and no matter when you walk in, you feel accepted, you're comfortable, and no matter how good or bad your day is, you can leave it behind and relax and have a good time.
At the Pine Cove in East Sacramento, you'll find Harry McCullum, bar manager here for a quarter century. He says Cheers was pretty realistic.
You can go almost any neighborhood bar and find a different face, same people.
This is the face of Wesley King, a Pine Cove regular, who describes this place as the neighborhood's living room.
I know everybody. I know Harry, and I know all those guys down there. Yeah. I know them all.
The Palomino Room has been a North Sac landmark since the mid-50s, and it has the customers to prove it.
The customer arts comes in, he sings a couple songs. It always takes us back to Collins Park in 1945, BJ Day. Bob, he's been coming in for 35 years.
But young people aren't finding the same sense of relaxation. So they look elsewhere, perhaps outside.
It's a little nicer, more relaxed atmosphere. You don't feel pressured here. It's not really a place to pick people up. It's just a place to sit and have a coffee.
I think the only coffee being served here tonight, Carol, is Irish coffee. Of course, Cheers has faded away, but it will live on in reruns. Whether neighborhood bars do, well, we'll just have to wait and see. And I just want you to know, Carol, I've been working very hard on this story. As a matter of fact, for the last few months, I've been engaged in very heavy research into neighborhood bars.
Kelly, it shows. I just want to know if you won the Norm Lookalike contest.
No, but I came in second in Cliff.
Okay. Good going, Kelly. Back to work.
Thank you.
We still have much more ahead tonight as we take a fond look back at Cheers. In just about 15 minutes, we're going to meet the production team that created the series, and we'll take a look at some memorable moments. We'll also bring you an exclusive interview with John Ratzenberg. He's the guy who played know-it-all postman Cliff Clavin. And then it's back live to Boston again, where Jay Leno will be hosting The Tonight Show at the Bull and Finch Pub.
Question, could a show like Cheers be made today? Producers say probably not, and they'll tell us why when we come back.
Society certainly has changed in the past decade. Nowhere is that more evident than on television. Just ask the producers of Cheers. They say it would be almost impossible to put a show like that on the air today. Channel 3's Mark Gretschmill explains why, and he takes a look at some of the show's most memorable moments.
Afternoon, everybody. No!
Norm's bar entrances became one of the show's most popular routines. Originally intended as a one-time joke, it snowballed after getting a big laugh.
So it was somebody's idea, well, let's do another one the next week. And then it became where we had to do another one next week. And pretty soon it became we were spending as much time on the Norm entrances as we were on the whole rest of the story. And after a few years, we tried to find ways to not bring him through the door. Have him already here.
No, I mean it. He was the very best, as sure as the earth is round.
You don't believe that, Coach.
No, you know, I never used to believe it, Sam, till I saw those pictures from the space shuttle.
The saddest moment for the Cheers family came in 1985 with the death of actor Nicholas Colasanto.
We were going to do a show, shoot a show the night that he died. And we met with the cast, and we said, now, Nick would want us to go on, the show must go on, that sort of thing. We'll abide by whatever you want to do. And everybody felt that wouldn't be right in honor of him. So we closed down that night. I think it's the only time we've ever closed down. Isn't it?
The producers say that in 1993, selling the concept of a program like Cheers would be almost impossible.
There might be more resistance to a show taking place in a bar. Even at the time, we had people who wouldn't watch in the beginning because I don't want to watch a show set in a bar. And I also think the central character of Sam Malone being a womanizer is kind of a passé character now.
I'm Mark Gretschmill, Channel 3 reports.
I think there are a lot of people, though, that think that whole bunch could live on forever.
Oh, sure. A lot of people who could identify with many members of that bunch.
Yeah, maybe Sam will miss it all, want to come back and do it again.
You know, they're saying that perhaps 100 million viewers tune in tonight to that program, the final episode. So that
may be
may
interesting to see how it
indicate
compares to the MASH finale.
Absolutely.
Which was the biggest of all time. Don't forget, so a little later in this hour, we're going to switch you back live to Boston. We know it's late for Walt Craze. They had a long day. but believe me, he's loving it. And Cheers has poured its final beer, but the party continues in Boston tonight outside the bar that inspired the series, the Bull and Finch. The cast celebrated with thousands of fans who packed the streets tonight to watch the show and to say goodbye. And across this country, millions tuned in for the final episode, which answered the question once and for all, will Sam and Diane finally tie the knot? The answer, in case you were one of the few who missed it, was not.
Aw, and in honor of Cheers, Jay Leno has taken his Tonight Show cast and crew to Boston's Bull and Finch pub. Channel 3's Walt Gray standing by live at the same pub, and he joins us now with a preview of the Tonight Show and a fashion show of sorts of one of his first souvenirs, I would imagine. Right, Walt?
Well, Stan asked for a T-shirt, and I just want to make sure that this one's okay because I got him one too. And I got Ted Danson's signature, and it, as you mentioned, Jay Leno doing the Tonight Show live from the Bull and Finch pub tonight. And here's a little bit of a preview. The only thing I'll say is nobody got hurt tonight.
Welcome. Good to see everybody.
This special edition of The Tonight Show came about when network executives approached Leno with an idea.
They said, listen, why don't you take the crew over to the Cheers set in February when they do the last show and tape interviews with everybody and then run them in May. And I said, well, I don't want to run them in May. I mean, The Tonight Show is a live show, or at least done that day and shown later, you know. I said, why don't we go to the Cheers bar in Boston, do a show from there?
Ironically, Leno once did stand-up comedy in this very same building.
It was never a comedy club, but when I went to school here in the 70s, they would have the usual, 19-year-olds singing "I Hate My Parents," and the sort of, folk singer stuff. And they would have comedians, and I worked the back bar here many times.
One thing is for sure about tonight, with all the hoopla about this final Cheers episode, the program will wind up with record-high ratings.
This is done so well that every week NBC is going to cancel all their shows. They'll just cancel shows on a regular basis.
Guarantee it will be a night to remember if you stick around for the next 90 minutes or so and catch Jay Leno and the Tonight Show. Happened right out here, right in front of us, about 50 feet away, so I'll vouch for it. Back to you live in the studio in Sacramento. It's
Great.
2 a.m. here.
I know that. Yes, we can add. Stan says the T-shirt is great, Walt, and he wants the one with Ted Danson's signature on it. So he says many thanks, bud.
He can have it, but it's going to cost him. Everything has a price.
I'll pass that along.
Okay.
Okay, Walt,
Sure.
good job. Thanks a lot.
And a real trivia buff when it comes to Cheers. The guy who's aced all the questions
That's
tonight.
right.
I think I missed one. I'm not sure which one it was. But
Well, Mark, you did really well, but then again, you did create the quiz, so.
yeah. The other thing I find amazing is that Walt's out there in a T-shirt. It's about 49 degrees right now in Boston.
Good
They had some
point.
rain earlier, and Jay...
Well, I think he's found some other way of warming his body, so to speak.
You think so?
No, I think so.
I'm sure most of the folks there tonight did.
Emotional excitement.
Yes, I'm sure everyone there tonight was quite warm.